everybody? This is episode 5 of Hoops, Hooks, and Pigskin. It's just me and Chris again. We're going to start out with college basketball. Let's just ask the first question. Is Kentucky going to go undefeated? And if not, when are they going to lose?
I say Kentucky is not going to go undefeated. I think they're going to lose in either an Elite Eight or a Final Four game, depending on how everything works out. Wisconsin, I think the team that can beat them is Wisconsin.
And why is that? Is that because of Kaminsky or what?
Yeah, they're skilled on the offensive end. They're big, pretty big, similar to Kentucky, and I think they just score more points. Right now, the way Kentucky plays, I don't know. They look really impressive that last game against Auburn, but for the most part of the season, their offense hasn't shown anything. And I feel like when it gets to tournament time, when people get lucky, they start making shots, the better teams, I think they'll run into so much trouble. I'm just worried about playing in the SEC. They're not getting enough of a test to go all the way with it. What do you say?
It's tough for me because I thought at the beginning of the year, the way they were running through teams, I just figured they were gonna go undefeated. But it's just so hard. Um, I could see them. I could still see them going undefeated, but I think it's also very possible that if they get the wrong matchup in the Final Four, that they might lose. If they get to the actual final game, I don't see that team losing. Not even if it's undefeated and it's a bad matchup. I mean, there's just too much depth.
I'll say this for them: they have, I think, the best chance to do it from any team I've seen in quite some time. Like, if it's going to happen, it'll happen this year with that team. They are stacked, though. They are
Right.
stacked. I just
Yeah,
don't
and
like.
I mean, if Poitras had not gotten hurt, it would be even more of a chance. But even with the injury to Poitras, as long as they don't have any other big injuries, I think they're fine.
They'll be fine. And it's funny. I think the game they should have already lost. Like they should have lost that game. I think me and you were together when they played. Who was that?
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. That was the one game they should have lost, and they pulled that one out. So yeah, but I just don't think they have enough to. I'm really basing the fact that they're going to lose on the fact that they're not being tested in the SEC. It's not that they're a team. I just think that at some point someone's going to get hot and beat them. It's just I don't think they're facing quality teams in the SEC. So I think like once they get to the tournament time, they're going to be shocked by the speed of some of the other teams that are out there. Because
Let me ask you a question. I wasn't gonna ask this, but last year I made a comment about how I thought Kentucky was an AAU team
yeah,
right before they went to the final.
yeah,
I wasn't really high on the chances of UConn, and those two teams made the finals, and UConn won.
yeah.
Is there a team out there that you think has that potential right now?
Oh, that's a good question. A team out there right now. I don't know if they're a team that's so. Last year with those two teams, they were struggling through the season, and then they kind of snuck up on people in the tournament. I'm not sure if there's that team this year, but I think there are a lot of underrated good teams like Northern Iowa. I think they're a really good team that no one knows about, and I'll be looking out for them because 1 through 5, their starting lineup is grown men, and I think they're going to be able to make some noise in the tournament.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree that there's not really a team. There's not really a team that has a lot of talent that's underachieving to that extent. The one team that I was thinking about though is Texas. Texas is definitely going to make the tournament, and Texas is definitely going to be seated lower than a lot of people thought they would be at the beginning of the season. But other than that, I don't really see a team with like Kentucky or UConn type potential. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And my thing about Texas is their point guard is pretty good, but they seem as a team they play very selfish. It seems like everyone's out for themselves. That what you're saying would be they would be a team that could come together if they decide, hey, it's tournament time. Let's start playing together. But they're just so selfish. I just can't see it with them right now.
right?
They have talent though. they have some big time talent on that team.
Right. And I mean, it shocks me that Texas is still seated as high as they are in the bracketology,
Yeah.
considering the number of losses that they have.
When you got those guys on the front line, you got Miles Turner, you got Cameron Ridley. I mean, they got a pretty good team. Like, so
No, no, I'm not saying they don't have a lot of talent. What I'm saying is,
how many losses that they?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Another team that I'm still on the fence about is UCLA. I think they have some talent to win some games. I don't know if they will because Tony Parker, you never know what effort you're going to get out of him. But I think they have a team that could sneak up on some people and win some
You
games.
know
But
what? Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if they can win a championship, but can ruin a bracket or two.
You know what? Surprising,
Uh,
surprisingly about UCLA is that they just don't seem to have the talent that New Mexico had when Alfred was there.
yeah, yeah. But oh, this is his first recruiting cycle, and he got like the number 5 player in the country to come here, Kevon Looney. So I mean, give him some time. I think he'll turn it
Yeah, I mean, maybe he just got hired too late. I don't know, but I'm just
around.
surprised by it.
I mean, but he got. I mean, like if you pick you get a top 10 recruit in your first recruiting cycle. That's nothing to sneeze at. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, um,
Son is better than I thought he was.
what happened?
His son, Steve Alford's
Oh,
son,
yeah, yeah,
that guy can play. He can ball.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just think UCLA. Even with Ben Howland was making the Final Four pretty regularly in his first 5 years. So it's just like
Yeah.
when you coach somewhere like UCLA, they're just
That
really high expectations,
yeah, that's
whether they're
certainly,
justified or not.
certainly. Well, it was a rebuilding project. I mean, Ben didn't leave the program in great shape when he left, though.
That's true. That's
So
definitely true.
a little while to get it back. So I don't know, but he has talent on the team. Tony Parker's good. Norman Powell's good. I don't know. That's why I don't know if it's the coaching or if they're just not all buying in. I don't know what it is, but they should be better. Maybe like Texas, if they decide, that they start playing together with each other, play some defense, and Tony Parker can stay on the floor, and they probably they have a pretty good shot at turning.
Okay, let me ask you another question.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Pac-12, Big Ten, Big 12, SEC. How many bids do you have for each of those conferences?
Wow. Right now, the Pac-10, I'll start there. Pac-12, whatever they call now. I'll start there. I'll give them 4, maybe 5 right now. Arizona, Utah. I think Stanford's in. I think UCLA's on the bubble.
Do you have Oregon in?
Huh?
Do you have Oregon in?
And Oregon, they're playing their way in. Yeah, so 4, maybe 5. Yeah, because Oregon's playing pretty good now.
Okay.
What was the other conference you asked about?
I
SEC?
have 4.
No,
Um,
SEC. Oh, you
yeah,
got 4.
SEC, Big 12, and Big 10.
Okay. All right. The Big Ten is going to get an enormous amount of teams, 7 or 8, because their conference they're pretty stacked. They're pretty stacked. So I got the Big Ten with about 7 or 8. I have, let me see here, Michigan, Wisconsin, Michigan State. Uh, um, Shoot, I can't even think. Maryland's in. I don't have all 7, but it's going to be like 7 of them. I can't think of them all right now, but it's going to be like 7 from that conference. What do you have for that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, obviously Wisconsin, Maryland, Michigan State, Purdue,
Yeah.
Indiana, and Ohio State. After that,
Ohio State and Indiana.
yeah,
I'm a little on the fence on Indiana, but I guess they'll be in.
I think they have 19 wins right now,
Oh yeah, they're in. They're in.
and they're probably going to win a couple more. They're probably going to win at least 10 games in the Big Ten. I don't see the committee
Can't leave them
um,
out. Yeah.
dropping them, even though they don't have a whole lot out of conference. Um, then Iowa and Illinois, I don't know.
Iowa's definitely in because Iowa has a big win over North Carolina on the road. And they started out the season pretty well. So I don't. I think Iowa's probably so
So
about
you have seven definitely then.
seven. Yeah, seven.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Let's do well, I guess Big 12 is not that complicated.
no.
Yeah,
What is it? Big 12's what? 5 or 6?
it's probably six. Well, I mean,
Texas,
well,
Kansas.
it's really comes down to do you have Texas and Oklahoma State both in?
Yeah,
Okay, then it's seven.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oklahoma's in right now, right? Would you have
Yeah,
Oklahoma?
Oklahoma's in. Yeah, I mean it's Kansas, Iowa State, Oklahoma,
Yeah,
West Virginia, and Baylor, and then Oklahoma State and Texas.
exactly, exactly. Baylor's playing pretty good right now too, man.
Baylor's playing very well.
Now that
I'm
you
very impressed with that team.
yeah.
Um, all right, and then let's go to SEC because this is what trips me out about the SEC is that everyone's talking about how Kentucky's not being challenged because the SEC is a little bit weak, right?
Yeah.
But I've been seeing like six teams in
You
from the
see,
SEC. I mean, that's not a weak conference if you have six teams in.
name these 6 teams. You gotta take me through this one.
I mean, I've been seeing all the top six teams in from Georgia on up. I do think LSU is a very good team.
I
Yeah,
have I
they
have
have
maybe
the
four.
shot blocker. What's his name?
Uh,
Mackey.
hmm I have
Yeah,
maybe four at the most, man. I have Arkansas, LSU, Kentucky, and maybe Georgia. Like I can't see it. Like that conference
yeah,
is horrible, dude. I'm sorry. I'm
yeah. I mean, that's more along the lines of how I see it. But
like, yeah.
I've been seeing Texas A&M in, Ole Miss.
I
I
don't
just
know.
I don't
I,
see it.
I don't
That's what I've been seeing on
have beaten anyone. Like none of those schools. Like I just can't see it. I think a lot of these mid majors need to get more people in, and some of these major conferences have to lose out at some point. Like there's a lot of good teams out there that need to be in where some major conferences. These guys there, they haven't beaten anybody. I mean, come on, you know?
Well, I mean, like that gets to one of the things that I was going to ask about is like the Mountain West. I've been seeing three in from
Yeah,
time to time, but I think there are four teams that are definitely either bubble or in the Mountain West. You have San Diego State, obviously. Colorado State seems to be pretty firmly in, but still kind of on the edge of that bubble. And then you have Boise State and Wyoming.
yeah,
Um, I feel like whoever comes in third out of Boise State and Wyoming deserves it.
definitely,
Um, and
definitely.
whoever comes in fourth is it should be a strong bubble team. I mean, well, maybe not strong, but
I think
right there
Wyoming.
in the discussion.
I have Wyoming in. I think Wyoming is in. I like Wyoming's team. I think they have a pretty good team on paper, and their resumes okay. It's not as great as it could be, but I think Wyoming should be in regardless.
Yeah. Um, let me get to something else. You sort of touched upon this, but is there a team right now that you think is sneaking up on people at the end of the season?
Um, I don't know how much you know about them, but like I said, Northern Iowa is a team that I think is moving in the right direction. Virginia Commonwealth, this is the time of year where they start coming together and showing people. Um, hmm. I'm a real big fan of Arizona. Like the way they play defense is kind of Kentucky-esque, where like that would be a great Final Four matchup right there, like Elite Eight matchup, like Kentucky against Arizona. Like they both lock down on defense. Like I'm a real big fan of Arizona, but they have the same problem Kentucky has, where they can't where they go through spurts where they can't make any shots. So.
Yeah, but
But
that's what trips me out about those two teams is that they actually have talented offensive players on those
yeah,
teams.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's a new age of basketball, I guess, where people are focusing on defense and not worrying about their offense.
It's kind of like the Floyd Mayweather syndrome. You forget to score.
Yeah, it seems like that. It's an unusual year for college basketball, so that's why maybe the Kentucky thing is possible. You never know what's going to happen this year. Right? I don't know. This tournament is going to be interesting. I can't. I like right now. I try to sit down and play with it and matchups, and there's so many. There's going to be so many good matchups this year. It's going to be a fun tournament.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have your one seeds locked in?
I don't. I wouldn't say locked in. There's still a little basketball to play. My concerns are mainly, well, Virginia's like they keep winning.
Right.
So I think like the only ones that's really in play right now, I would say, is Duke,
Yeah.
because Virginia has like a 3-game lead in the division. Although Duke has a better resume when you're talking about tournament, like all the road wins that they have and things like that. But Virginia, if they win the regular season in the ACC, there's no way you can take them, out of the one seed. So I would say Duke is really the only one. Wisconsin is pretty firmly in there. Kentucky, I mean, I don't see them losing anytime soon. Um, so yeah, I would say only probably the fourth number one seed, which is Duke right now, is probably up for
And it would be Gonzaga if it's not Duke, right?
grabs. I honestly don't know how the committee could give it to Gonzaga because you talk about another team that hasn't played anybody.
Right.
Yeah, they would be the team that would slide into that spot.
Is there anyone else who could slide in with Nova or someone like that?
Uh, I don't think so. Not with what transpired the last week. I think it's either Duke or it would have to be Duke or Gonzaga. Maybe in Arizona if they run the table, and maybe Kansas depending on how they finish out the rest.
Yeah, I feel like Arizona should be rated ahead of Gonzaga
Me too.
because Arizona played a much tougher schedule and Arizona beat Gonzaga.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Gonzaga blew the game, but Arizona won.
I
Um,
was looking at someone's rankings today where they had, I know they had Wisconsin ahead of Duke, and I'm like, Duke beat them already. But I don't know. I don't make the rules. I just play by.
well, I mean, Utah is so far ahead of San Diego State, it's ridiculous, and San Diego
Yeah.
State beat Utah. So,
Well, you guys are starting to finally get healthy too. So we'll see how you guys finish out the season.
well, I mean, really, we had like a 6 game stretch where we lost 3 games. Other than that, we've been a top 15 team
Right.
the entire
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, but
Um,
if you think about with Poli being out, that hurts. So now you get him back. You guys
well,
can.
and also Malik Pope is starting to play, so
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not so worried about our scoring anymore now that Malik Pope is playing well. Because that's a guy who can score 20 points on any given night. And Winston Shepard's been scoring 20 points here and there. Kill Quinn's been doing it, so I'm not as worried about our scoring as I was like around New Year's. So anyway, player of the year, are you going with Okafor or are you gonna do Kaminsky?
Well, we'll see how the ankle goes. I mean, you can't miss games and then still win player of the year. So he played pretty good against North Carolina, considering he had a bad ankle. He didn't play the last game. I don't know if he's playing the upcoming game. So we'll see. Right now, I still have him in front, but it's by a small margin. Kaminsky's the truth, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll see.
I think it's really a two-horse race.
Yeah. Don't. I mean, we all sleep on Carl Anthony Towns though. The kid is starting to learn how to play some basketball. He's been
I
right
mean,
there, numbers wise. I mean, he's got to share the ball more and less plays, less minutes than the other two. But he's right there now. I mean, you run the table, you got to give those guys consideration.
I'm not sleeping on Carl Anthony Towns. I just think that his numbers just aren't going to be enough to
Yeah.
sway voters. As far as like draft stock, I
Yeah.
have him right up there with Okafor, and I don't have Kaminsky up quite as high as those guys. I have Kaminsky more around 10 or 12. I think those are the top two picks in the draft.
Oh yeah,
After,
definitely.
after that, everyone else slots in. I mean,
Unless you're
whoever.
Lakers decide to go grab a dude from China, go grab Emmanuel Mudiay.
You know, as long as the Lakers get a pick,
Yeah,
anybody who's there in the top five, I'm fine with. I mean, whether it's Okafor or Moutier or Carl Anthony Towns or Stanley Johnson. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me.
yeah.
Anybody who's there in the top five is going to be a solid addition to the team because there's really not a whole lot there.
Wow. So you picked Stanley Johnson in your top five?
I think he's number five.
I don't know, man. From what I'm hearing, the scouts are saying that people like Kevon Looney a little bit better than they like Stanley Johnson. Even Justice Winslow is getting some more, a little bit more praise than.
Well, I mean, if like let's say the Lakers were to start winning some games,
Yeah,
and then they don't get a top five pick, then the pick goes to Philly.
yeah.
So I'm just talking about top five picks. I don't consider Justice Winslow a
Well,
top five pick.
but I'm
So-
saying people have rated him as the number one small forward. So if a scout's
Oh, okay.
small
Yeah.
forward,
Well, I mean, I like Justice Winslow. I think he's a good player. I just like Stanley Johnson better. That's just me.
okay, all right. But you mentioned cup check.
And I mean, like what Justice Winslow did the other night. I mean, like,
Yeah,
yeah, if he could do that in the NBA, that would be amazing. You know.
yeah. He's my favorite out of the recruits that do. Out of all of them, he's like the most athletic. He's got to get to work on his jump shot. That'll come in time. You shoot 1,000 jump shots a day, you'll eventually start knocking it down.
Yeah, I mean, your recruiting class this year just wasn't fair.
Yeah, it was sick.
I mean, it just wasn't fair. I mean, it was just every single one of those guys. Every single one of those guys is a star player right now.
Yeah, but the problem is we lost all the depth behind him. Like everybody transferred out or kicked out.
Yeah,
So
and you're probably only going to keep Tyus. That's the only one you're going to keep.
well, the way they're talking now, he's looking at going towards the NBA. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
then you better hope you make the Final Four this year.
We got to win it all this year because next year is going to be a little rough. Well, we got the talent coming in. I mean, the cover's not going to be bare, but it's not going to be great either.
Right.
You know.
Right. Okay. Let me. I don't want to get too in depth with this right now because I feel like in 2 weeks we're gonna have a better idea. Hopefully, we do a show in 2 weeks. But who are some teams that you're really looking for in terms of positioning themselves to get a better seed or playing their way into the tournament over these next 2 weeks?
The next 2 weeks, depending on how you feel about a few teams, I would say I would watch out for Stanford. Stanford's a team that I feel as though that they can make their way into the tournament. Right now, I kind of have them on the bubble. I think they're going to play their way in and show improvement here coming up. Wichita State, although they're pretty highly ranked. I'm looking forward to their second matchup with Northern Iowa because Northern Iowa took it to them the first time they played. And I think Wichita State's going to try to solidify their position, and they still have some talent. Um, um, Drexel was doing pretty good, but I think they're going to fall off. So I'm looking to see who can come up. I'm a big fan of VCU. Um, UMass, I think, can play their way, play pretty good, get themselves a little better seated. You know what's funny? I think Syracuse was on the verge of doing something until they decided to ban themselves. So I'm looking at Pittsburgh right now. Pittsburgh's been playing pretty good lately. I see them trying to play themselves way into the tournament. They got a couple good games coming up. I think one against Louisville, and I think they might even have like North Carolina on their schedule where they have a couple chances to make their way.
Yeah, and I hope Pittsburgh wins some of those games because that would make San Diego State's resume a little bit better from having beaten Pittsburgh earlier. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't think that Syracuse gave up so much as it's hard to be that motivated when
Yeah,
you know you're not going to do anything after this.
sort of. They're not even playing in the ACC tournament.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
That's anyway. Villanova. I mean, I think they're going to solidify a number two spot in these next couple of weeks. Georgetown's playing pretty good, but I think they have an upcoming game with Villanova, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think Villanova's going to use that as an opportunity to solidify themselves as a number two seed. Um, Iowa State, I look for them to start, making their run and solidifying themselves as well. I'm wondering. I know Kansas is going to win the Big Ten overall regular season title, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Iowa State take the tournament from them.
Okay, I'm gonna write that one down.
Yeah,
I'm gonna write that one down.
favorite it. I'll tweet it to you so you can favorite it. So
What's up?
I said I'll tweet it to you so you can favorite it. So that way,
Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, I want to see what Maryland does to close out the year.
yeah,
Yeah, Georgetown obviously had a little bit of a rough stretch about a month ago, and see how they do. Yeah, I guess all the local teams, especially if you count VCU as kind of a local team.
I live the risk
Um,
by giving the credit. Yeah,
yeah, and beyond that, I mean, I want to see Louisville win a couple games that are tough.
they
Louisville's
lost
had a tough
point guard.
schedule, huh?
They lost Chris Jones for the season.
Oh, is he out for the year?
Yeah, so I think they're going to go the opposite direction.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, um, they have a tough schedule and they won a lot of games, but they haven't won a lot of tough games.
No,
And so, with just coming 2 years off of a national championship last year, having, I think they lost in the Elite Eight, right, to Kentucky.
hmm
Yeah, I mean, bringing back a lot of talent, I would have thought that this was a team that could have made a bigger run than it seems like they're going to make. And so, yeah, I mean, if they lose Chris Jones, Harrell, and Rozier, I don't think they're enough. I don't think that's
nah,
enough.
nah. They needed Chris Jones because their backup point guard, Quinn Snyder, whatever his name is, he's just not he's just not enough. He's a good kid. He was fairly highly rated, but it's just he hasn't put it together so far. I don't know what it is. When you're young and you're trying to control a team, it's just some guys just can't immediately take over and do it. So
Right.
you need a little more
All
seasoning.
right. All right. Last question. It's two parts. Um, who are your first team picks for All American
Okay.
right now? And then who are your top five picks in the draft?
All right. All right.
And that does include Moutier for the draft.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to put him in my top five.
Yeah.
All right. So my top five, my All Americans are at the center is going to be anchored by Jaleel Okafor. All right. I have power forward is going to be Kaminsky. Um, wow. I got to think about my small forward for a minute there. Um, my point guard is going to be D'Angelo Russell from Ohio State. Um, hmm. My shooting guard. Oh man, this is tough. I don't know. That's a good question. I got to think about that one. Let me hear yours. Let me hear yours.
Yeah, I mean, I got Russell, I got Okafor, and I got Kaminsky also. I think I'm just gonna go three guards. I think I'm gonna go Jerry Grant and Tyler Haas from BYU.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I. You know what? Now that you mention it, I do have to add Jeremy Grant because he's had an outstanding year. Um, but I can't. I don't know. I can't think of the exact small forward at the moment right now that I want to go with. Hmm. That's a good one. That's a good one. You said
All right.
top.
Well, we got 2 more weeks. We got a show in 2 weeks, so I'll let you off the hook.
Right now, I can't. I can't make
I'll
any
let you off
predictions.
the hook as long as you tell me the two or three people who you're debating.
All right. I'll say this. I think this. Right now, I want to go. You know what? I want to go. I'm trying to think. Is it unusual to have three bigs? I mean, because I think Montrezl Harrell deserves to be like a first team All American player. Like you kind of see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm putting him second team, and the reason why is because he doesn't seem like he wants to be first team. He seems like he wants to practice his NBA game.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh man, it's you're gonna have to let me off the hook on this one for
All
today.
right, that's fine.
Okay.
Let's go with the draft.
My top five in the draft are all right. No one pick, no matter who's drafting, they're gonna pick Jaleel Okafor. Like, can't let that kind of talent go. Number two pick in the draft, it all depends on who's playing. No particular order then, outside for the rest of the next four.
Okay.
All right. Um, Moutier, Carl Towns, Kevin Looney, and Miles Turner.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not. I don't. The scouts drool over Miles Turner. He's finally starting to turn the page. So that's my five. But I don't know which order they'll go. So, but those are the five that I
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think
have. Or
Stanley
D'Angelo
Johnson.
Russell when he comes out. D'Angelo
Oh,
Russell.
maybe yeah, maybe D'Angelo
Yeah.
Russell. You know, the funny thing about it is that I was really high on Cliff Alexander
Yeah.
coming out of high school,
Mm-hmm.
and right now I don't think he should even come out. I think he should stay another year. Because I think his potential is top five. So if he's not a top five pick, he shouldn't come out.
Yeah. You know,
Um,
shocking about him for his strength and explosion, he hasn't shown it at all this year. I don't know what's going on with him.
no, he does. He does. When he does get on the offensive glass,
Yeah.
he actually does attack it. But the problem is that he hasn't been consistent enough to stay on the floor.
Yeah. 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 So
Um, I'm
I
gonna,
would
I'm gonna,
about
I'll
him.
say this. I think one guy other than Stanley Johnson, who I guess you disagree with, but I don't think you disagree with a lot. Another guy who I think might sneak into the top five, depending on who's picking and whatever, is Willie Cauley Stein. He's definitely taken a step forward in my opinion this year. Last year he
Yeah.
was way too sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he's played consistently well, I think, is what has helped Kentucky. Especially when Trey Lyles got hurt,
Yeah.
they still had their big men. They still had multiple 7-footers. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think he's probably more like a seven pick, but I think he can get into the top five, especially if
Yeah.
Kentucky goes undefeated.
Yeah, you're right. I would say so. He's got the talent. He definitely has the talent. He definitely has the talent. It's going to be a deep draft this year. I'll say that much. Because Kentucky has like we talked about this before off camera,
Yeah,
but they have like 7 or 8 guys that can actually go in the first round of the draft this
yeah.
year. Like, that's
I
insane.
mean, Kansas has a lot of guys who can go in the first round too.
Yeah, yeah. Kelly Oubre, that's my guy right there. I'm surprised he hasn't shown more this
Yeah,
year. Another guy that I really like, and I don't know if he's deserving of first team All America, but I love Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
yeah. Arizona. I was looking at Arizona's stats, and I mean, between like Stanley Johnson, T.J. McConnell, Rondé Hollis Jefferson, um, Caleb Tarzewski, Gabe York. I mean, they have so many guys who are averaging either like double figures or close to it, and at least like 5 rebounds if they're only at like 8 points.
Yeah,
So yeah, the team might not be able to score, but they still have a lot of guys who can fill up the stat sheet.
yeah. Any given
Oh,
game.
and Brandon Ashley. Brandon
Yeah,
Ashley too.
that's my guy. He's going to go high in the draft too, whenever he decides to come out. I'm not sure when he's going to come out, but he's going to go pretty high.
Yeah, I mean, like I think other than maybe Duke and Kentucky, I think they have the best first six.
Yeah, yeah, they do. They do. I don't know, man. I mean, you can sleep on Wisconsin though, but they don't have the name recognition, but they got some grown men playing for. You got Sam Decker. I think Wisconsin has a pretty good starting lineup. And don't sleep on Northern Iowa. Like I'm telling you, like watch their team. I don't know any of their names, but I watched them. I know Tuttle or Tittle or whatever his name is, but I don't know the rest of their guys. They got some players on that team. Like I sat there and watched them. Like these dudes are impressive. Like
Yeah, I mean, I always look at like the top team or two in the Missouri Valley is always going to be a solid team. So like especially
going far. Like I think they're going to surprise some people this year. I think they're going to surprise people. People are going to think it's only the Tittle guy who's their lead scorer and rebounder, but they have some players. They have some players all over the floor there. So.
right. So I mean, like I guess my mid major thing is Gonzaga's getting a lot of love right now, and they do have some talent on that team. I mean, I like Sabonis.
Yeah.
I like him.
I like Wilcher or whatever his name
Yeah,
is.
Wilcher's good too. But I think right now, just because that team only has one loss, it's a little bit overrated.
Overrated. I mean, we've seen this story with Gonzaga before.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do think this team is better than some of
I mean,
its other teams that
they have some. They got experienced guard play, and then they got some scores on the wing, and like you said, Sabonis is okay. But I'm just
well, Sabonis is at least a year away from being a big
yeah,
time difference maker.
his frame is just too light. Like when he played, I mean, I can't say everybody's not going to run into Kentucky, but there are some solid big men in the league. In the you run into a Montrezl Harrell, like he's going to destroy that kid. Like you run into somebody with legitimate low post threat, like they're going to destroy that team. Like that team is going to be obliterated. Cal Wilcher can't check anybody in the post. That's why he left Kentucky.
Yeah, but you don't even need to have a legitimate low post threat. What you need is good defense.
Yeah.
That's how Arizona beat them. Arizona wasn't even making shots, and they still beat them just because they had good defense. Like I think, like for example, I believe this. UCLA, Arizona, San Diego State, and Gonzaga should always play like a 4-team tournament
Yeah.
for West Coast supremacy. And I mean, if you want to take UCLA out and substitute in like Arizona State every once in a while, I think that'd be fine. Or BYU,
West Coast tournament without having UCLA though.
huh?
You can't have a marquee West Coast tournament without including UCLA.
Okay, but that's what I mean. Like the wooden classic. I mean, it should be something like that every year because I would love to be able to play Gonzaga every year. And the reason why is because Gonzaga, they always shoot. They always shoot. And we have athletes who play defense. So as long as we can score 65 points, I think we can beat them.
Yeah, I agree. I'd agree. Yeah.
But, I mean, it is what it is. I think we'll end the basketball right there because I want to transition into boxing. And I'm going to stop the broadcast and I'm going to start up with another one.
All right. That's it.
All right.